Hi there, it's Carlos, the founder of Income, Carlos Alcala, and what you are seeing on the screen right now is this paper, which is the formula of joy, with this Mercat, which is Joy Bonanda. And I want to explain you what is this, what you're seeing, because this is what we give to the participants of Plencamp. So then they have a frame, then they have a way of understanding how is the experience and what's going to happen. So normally we start on the C of collective co-creation, which means that we are all co-creators of the experience. And on the other side of the paper, which is this other this other slide, then we have a game for each of the letters. So in collective co-creation, we do this classic game in theater where we jump into the middle, we do a movement, and then we say our names, and then everyone on the group repeats. And that's the way of us understanding that we are co-creators into this into this adventure, right? Into this world. Second, African adventure. I like to explain my personal story where I was studying a PhD in psychology, and then I got burned out for spending too much time into the office. And I traveled to Africa, and I was seeing the African kids playing around with bricks, with the dirt, with the leaves, and then I reconnected with the power of play and how play connects people together, how play make us feel happy in the present moment, in the here and now, and it's the easiest way to stay in a state of empathy, to develop social skills, and eventually to reach collective peace. And that's my story. So what I invite people from there is to improvise the personal story for 10 seconds, and they have to do it in an intense way, in a funny way, all at the same time. Sometimes, depending on the size of the group, we can do it one by one. Third, million messages. The thing that I normally explain is like we live in a world where we are constantly thinking with words in our mind. Otherwise, we are receiving messages all the time on this or on the computer. So we are always bombarded with messages, linguistic messages. So during the experience of Plain Camp, we are going to activate non-linguistic messages. So we enter into all this non-linguistic communication, non-verbal communication, and we can communicate with ourselves, with others, and with our environment. So the exercise that we do here is like I take left hand of everybody, right hand of everybody, and we give a massage in the hand. And this is a way of us communicating with us. And then I extend the massage, so then we end up massaging our own bodies and getting in contact with the physicality that we are going to work through the workshop. Fourth, printed pictures. I talk about AI and I talk about how I'm a facilitator and I train teams on AI. And nowadays, with generative AI, we can create images that never existed. So our focus during Playing Camp is to co-create an experience that has existed and actually take a documentation of it and record it. So in this case, we take three pictures. One, we take pictures as normal adults. Then we take the picture of our inner kid, and then we do something funny. And at the end, we do something wild. And everybody has these wonderful faces that you might have seen either in the Instagram or in the album of Plenka in social media. Then we go to the P, which is proactive proposal, which is the classic exercise of passing a club around the circle. So then they understand that at any point, any of the co-creators, you as a facilitator or me, we can propose an activity to the rest of the group. But anyone can propose an activity to the rest of the group. And that's how we move to laughing, listening, which is when we listen the proposal that is coming and then we can modify it into something that we consider funny. So what we do is I send a signal that is more complicated and the next participant normally creates something or does something stupid or ridiculous to pass it around. And that's the understanding of we can co-create and we can be creative and we can modify in a different way the proposal that is at that moment on the workshop. Available assets. I connected with the story of African adventure. So then what I do is I tell them the same way as the kids that they look like they don't have anything and they are the poorest of the planet. They live in total abundance because everything around can be something that they can use to play. So with this mind of this playful mind and this playful consciousness where everything can be a game, then we act on this abundance, on these available assets, and we grab something around, something that we could use as a game. So what I suggest them is like raise up your hand, look around. When you have something that you want to use as a game, then you put your hand up and then everybody goes. Normally I have a gong, or we all clap at the same time, and then we go, we pick up the object, and then we stay with the object. So for example, this could be my game, this one, right? And then this is going to be linked with the GPGPJJ. So when somebody says GPGP, the rest answers JJ. And I train the group like GPGP, JJ, GPGP, JJ. So everybody's trained already and they get this call of liberation. And 1, 2, 3, when somebody says GPGP, then we throw the object. So then, depending on the object, they throw it or they just leave it on the floor. Because sometimes people take something that is more sensible to be thrown, right? It's not a leaf or it's not a stone. Sometimes it's like a computer. Inviting inclusivity. So this is a way of connecting game and play when we were kids with these emotional wounds around being excluded. Because I tell my personal story of I was very little and then I was always selected for the football teams, the last one, because I was the small one. So I associate play with something dangerous, something that hurts. So in playing camp we are going to feel that, and what we do is to start shaking. So I tell the story of if you play ping pong and you lose the last point, then the negative energy is stuck in your hand, so then you shake it. And then if you play football in, then the negative energy is in both hands. If you play football and you fail the last goal in the last minute, so then the negative energy is in your foot, and then you shake it. Then it's like if you do dance, then the negative energy is in your chest or is on the hips. And at the end, I say if you swim and then you almost drown on the water, then the negative energy is everywhere, so then we shake it. So it's a shaking exercise. And we let go of that tension, so we are more open to play. We create a new space, and we can do small meditation exercise at that point of feeling our bodies. Negotiable noise, super important. Is there are 3 levels in playing camp: is yourself, is the others, and is the environment. So we first listen to ourselves, then the others, then the environment. So sometimes we negotiate our needs, and sometimes we are very noisy and we go crazy. So that's a bit of the negotiation of our needs. So we do like a very simple mudra, we bow, and that's the security signal, like in the static dance. So that signifies to the other people without words that at that moment I respect, honor, and listen to myself, and I don't want to go and join proactively into that game. Something that I say here also is like observing is also playing. So that's important for the people that are more shy or they have more barriers to be open and free. And finally, the global game, which is the har har har, which you find it in this other slide, in this other side. And I build it into the love, joy, and peace. So this is the love, and we put it in our heart, and we send love to the people in the group, looking into our eyes, and then we send ha 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 with these 3 fingers from the throat, which is the joy, and the sound is laughing. So ha 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 ha, and we look into other people's eyes, and finally for the peace and the abundance, what I tell them is like this technique is called Sobakriya, which consists on doing this for 10 minutes, har, 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 har. So because that's a very individualistic practice, and in playing camp we do a group spiritual practice, what we do is to 1, 2, 3, we put it here for the consciousness, and we share peace to create abundance. So with love, joy, and peace, we have abundance, collective abundance. That's the global game. So we put it here, here, and then we har, 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 and we do this among people. So har, 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 and then all the group has to do har, har, har with everyone in the group. And it's very funny. Everybody's listening, and everybody's like, okay, this is crazy, but I love it. And then we open the workshop. So depending on the workshop, sometimes we keep it here on the framework, depending on how much time we have, or we open the workshop by doing two rituals. So first is the ritual of connecting with nature. We look around, we choose a plant that we feel connected with at that point, and then we say, raise up your hand, well, raise up both hands, choose a plant, put down one hand, and then when you hear the name of that plant, then you put the other hand down. And the name is like, we have a name, but we are beings, and cats, dogs, we put them a name, but they are beings. So in this case, now there is a name between you and the plant, and it's an intuition, it's something that you listen into your mind, into your soul, and that's the name of today, and it's secret between you and the plant. And after doing that, the next step is the ritual of liberating yourself from your own name. So you put a name to a being, and then you liberate yourself from your own name. And what we do here is we are in a circle, and we say our name, and from that we don't speak. So Carlos, Pepito, Marito, Juan, John, Laura, whoever. And at the end, normally I say, welcome to Clean Camp, and everybody goes free, and then they don't speak from there. And I tell them to go and connect with the tree, with the plant that they chose, and connect around 2 3 minutes in silence, individual exercise, just connect with the tree, just feel the tree and stay there. And from there, my role as a facilitator is to start activating people. So I go to someone and I go like, hey, no, I don't speak. So I go like, but with a plant, right? With a leaf. And from the then we start growing, we start playing it together, and we start gathering more people, and then we start doing a series of exercises that you can find in the online course that I have for facilitators as well. So if you are interested, just check the link, message me, and I will give you more access to the training. Okay, so that's the basic framework that we work with the different games for each of the activities, and we give this to the different groups, different participants, so they all have a context and they can play with it. Thank you for your time.